Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Scale Podcast. I'm Suzie, and I'm very happy you're spending some time with us today.
And I'm Tom. Wherever you're listening from, maybe at home, on your way to work, or while taking a walk, we hope you can relax and enjoy some natural English with us.
Today, we're talking about a situation almost everyone experiences, but many people still find difficult, starting a conversation with someone you don't know very well.
Yes, that first moment can feel surprisingly stressful. You see someone, you want to say something, but suddenly your mind becomes completely empty.
Exactly. You know hundreds of English words, but at that moment, your brain says, "Sorry, I have nothing for you."
And this can be even harder when English is not your first language because you're thinking about the conversation and the language at the same time.
So today, we'll explore how to start conversations naturally, what you can say in different situations, and how you can keep a conversation going after the first few sentences.
We'll use clear, natural English for B1 to B2 learners so you can practice listening while learning expressions that you can actually use in real life.
Before we go deeper, here is a simple question to keep in your mind while you listen. How do you usually feel when you have to start a conversation with someone new?
Maybe you feel confident and curious, or maybe you feel nervous because you don't know what to say.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I can talk to someone easily, but in other situations, I start thinking too much.
What do you think about?
Everything. I think, what should I say? What if they don't want to talk? What if I say something strange? What if there's an awkward silence?
That last one is a big fear for many people. An awkward silence is a quiet moment when nobody knows what to say and everyone feels a little uncomfortable.
But here is something important to remember. A conversation doesn't need to begin with something clever or impressive.
Exactly. In fact, some of the best conversations begin with very ordinary comments.
You can talk about where you are, what is happening around you, or something you and the other person are both experiencing.
Imagine you're waiting for a meeting to begin. You don't need an amazing opening question. You could simply say, "Have you been to one of these meetings before?"
Or if you're at a class, you might say, "How are you finding the class so far?"
And if you're waiting in a long line, you could smile and say, "It looks like we'll be here for a while."
That's a good one because it feels natural. You're not suddenly asking a stranger about their deepest dreams.
Yes, maybe don't begin with, "Hello, what is the meaning of your life?"
Unless you want a very unusual conversation.
The important idea is to start with the situation you share. This gives both people something easy to talk about.
Tom, are you usually comfortable starting conversations with strangers?
More comfortable now than I used to be. When I was younger, I often waited for the other person to speak first.
Why?
I think I was afraid of bothering people. I thought, maybe this person wants to be alone, so I shouldn't say anything.
I understand that. How did you become more comfortable?
I realized that starting a conversation doesn't mean forcing someone to talk to you. You can simply open the door.
I like that expression. You open the door, and the other person can decide whether they want to continue.
Exactly. For example, you make a friendly comment and ask a simple question. If they smile, give a longer answer, or ask you something back, they probably want to continue.
But if they only say yes or no and immediately look back at their phone, that might be a sign that they don't feel like talking.
And that's completely fine. It doesn't mean your English was bad or that you did something wrong.
That point is especially important for English learners. Sometimes a conversation ends quickly and you immediately think, "Oh no, I made a mistake."
But maybe the other person is tired, busy, shy, or simply thinking about something else.
So don't measure your English ability by one person's reaction.
Now, there's another mistake people sometimes make when they're trying to start a conversation. They ask too many questions too quickly.
Yes, the conversation starts feeling like an interview.
Where are you from? What do you do? How old are you? Are you married? Where do you live? Please give the poor person a moment to breathe.
A natural conversation has balance. You ask something, listen to the answer, share a little about yourself, and then continue from there.
For example, imagine I ask you, "Are you from around here?"
I might say, no, I moved here a few years ago. I'm originally from a smaller town.
Then instead of immediately asking another unrelated question, I can use something from your answer. I might say, "Oh, really? Was it difficult getting used to a bigger city?"
Now the conversation feels connected because you listened to what I actually said.
And that might be one of the biggest secrets of good conversation. You don't always need to think about your next question.
You need to listen carefully enough to notice the next possible topic inside the answer. That idea of listening carefully sounds simple, but I think it can completely change the way we have conversations.
Definitely. When people are nervous, they often listen only enough to prepare their next sentence, instead of becoming interested in what the other person is saying.
I've done that before. Someone is talking, and inside my head, I'm thinking, okay, Susie, what are you going to say next? Think of something interesting.
Meanwhile, the other person has already given you 3 interesting things you could talk about.
Exactly. So instead of searching for a completely new topic, we can learn to follow what I like to call conversation clues.
A conversation clue is a small piece of information in someone's answer that can help you continue talking.
Let's give an example. Imagine I ask, what did you do this weekend? And you say, I went hiking with some friends. We found a beautiful place outside the city.
There are several clues in that answer. You could ask about hiking, my friends, the place we visited, or even whether I often spend time outside the city.
Right. I could say, that sounds nice. Do you go hiking often?
Or, where did you go? I've been looking for somewhere peaceful to visit.
Both questions feel natural because they come directly from what you said.
And notice something else. Susie didn't just ask another question, she also said, "That sounds nice."
Those little reactions are very useful in English conversations. Expressions like, really? That sounds great. No way. I know what you mean. And that's interesting. Show that you're listening.
But you need to use them naturally. If someone says, "I missed my bus this morning," and you happily shout, "That sounds great," you may create a different problem.
Yes, please listen to the meaning before choosing your reaction.
Another useful skill is asking open questions instead of only questions that can be answered with yes or no.
For example, instead of asking, do you like your job? You could ask, what do you enjoy most about your job?
The second question gives the person more space to speak.
But we shouldn't make every question too serious either. If you've just met someone, easy topics are often better.
Things like hobbies, food, travel, work, studies, the place you're in, or something happening around you are usually comfortable starting points.
Let's imagine we're both at a friend's birthday party, but we've never met before.
Okay, I'm standing near the food because apparently that is where I spend most of my time at parties.
Very realistic. I walk over and say, hi, I'm Susie. How do you know Anna?
And I say, "Hi, I'm Tom. We used to work together. What about you?"
We met at university. I've known her for about 6 years.
Then I could say, "Oh, so you've known her much longer than I have. What did you study together?"
And now we already have a conversation. Nothing extraordinary happened.
That's the point. People sometimes believe good conversationalists always have fascinating stories or perfect jokes.
But usually they're simply good at making the other person feel comfortable.
And your body language can help with that too.
Body language means the messages we communicate without words through our face, eyes, posture, and movements.
A small smile can make you seem more approachable. Approachable means friendly and easy to talk to.
Eye contact is useful too, although you don't need to stare at someone continuously.
Please don't. Friendly eye contact and staring are definitely not the same thing.
You can also turn your body toward the person and avoid checking your phone every few seconds.
Because if you keep looking at your phone while someone is speaking, you may be saying, without words, "I would rather be somewhere else."
There's another situation that many English learners worry about, starting a conversation with a native or fluent English speaker.
Yes, because suddenly you may feel that every sentence needs to be grammatically perfect.
But real conversations aren't grammar exams. Native speakers pause, change sentences, repeat themselves, and sometimes use the wrong word, too.
Your main goal is communication. If your meaning is clear, a small grammar mistake usually doesn't matter.
And if you don't understand something, you can simply say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "What do you mean by that?"
Those phrases don't make you look like a bad English speaker, they actually help you stay in the conversation.
I think confidence grows when you stop expecting yourself to perform perfectly.
Exactly. You're not performing on a stage, you're connecting with another person.
And sometimes that connection begins with one very ordinary sentence. Then one sentence becomes two, two become five, and before you realize it, you're having a real conversation in English.
There is still one moment that can make people nervous, though. What happens when the conversation starts well but suddenly becomes quiet?
Ah, the famous silence. Many people immediately panic and think they have to fill every second.
But a short silence is normal. You can take a moment, smile, and then return to something the person mentioned earlier.
You might say, "You mentioned that you enjoy traveling. What's one place you'd really like to visit?"
Or you can introduce a related topic by saying, "By the way, you were talking about your new job earlier. How is that going?"
The phrase, "by the way," is especially useful because it helps you move naturally to another idea.
And if you practice these small skills, starting conversations becomes less about finding perfect words and more about noticing opportunities to connect.
The more you listen, react, and follow those small conversation clues, the easier it becomes to keep a natural exchange moving. And there's another skill that can make conversations much easier: knowing how to move from small talk to something a little more meaningful.
Yes, because small talk is useful, but you probably don't want to talk about the weather for 45 minutes.
Exactly. Small talk is like a bridge. It helps two people become comfortable before they talk about more personal or interesting things.
For example, you might begin by asking someone what they do for work, and then ask what they enjoy about it.
Or someone tells you they recently moved to your city, and you ask what surprised them most about living there.
Questions like these invite people to share opinions and experiences, not only facts.
And when they share something, you can share something too. Remember, conversation should feel like an exchange.
If one person asks all the questions and the other person gives all the answers, it can start to feel like a job interview.
Let's practice another example. Tom, imagine we've just met at a language event. I ask you, what made you interested in learning languages?
I might say, travel, actually. I visited another country when I was younger, and I loved being able to communicate with local people.
Then I could respond, I understand that. I love how language can make travel feel completely different. Which country did you visit?
Perfect. You reacted, shared something about yourself, and asked a connected question.
There's a simple pattern learners can remember: ask, listen, react, share, and continue.
You don't have to follow that pattern perfectly every time, but it can help when you're not sure what to do.
Now, what about ending a conversation? That can sometimes feel almost as awkward as starting one.
Definitely. Some people want to leave but keep talking for another 20 minutes because they don't know how to escape politely.
You don't need to disappear suddenly or pretend you've received an emergency phone call.
You can simply say, "It was really nice talking to you," or "I'm glad we got a chance to chat."
If you need to leave, you could say, "I should get going, but it was lovely meeting you."
And at a social event, you can say, "I'm going to get another drink, but it was great talking with you."
These expressions make it clear that the conversation is ending, but they still sound friendly and respectful.
And if you enjoyed meeting the person, you can leave the door open for another conversation.
You might say, "Hopefully I'll see you here again," or if it feels appropriate, you can exchange contact information.
So starting well matters, but ending well matters too.
Before we finish, let's review some useful vocabulary and expressions from today.
The first expression is start a conversation. It simply means to begin talking with another person.
The next word is approachable. An approachable person seems friendly and easy to talk to.
We also used awkward silence. That means a quiet moment in a conversation that feels uncomfortable.
Another useful word is clue. In our conversation, a clue is a small piece of information that gives you an idea about what you can talk about next.
We also talked about open questions. These are questions that encourage longer answers instead of only yes or no.
And we used the expression, by the way, which can help you introduce or return to another topic naturally.
Here's a small challenge for you. The next time you have an opportunity to speak English, try starting one simple conversation.
You don't need to speak for 30 minutes. Your goal can simply be to say hello, make one friendly comment, and ask one natural question.
Maybe you can speak to a classmate, a colleague, another traveler, or someone at an event.
And if you feel nervous, remember that confidence usually comes after practice, not before it.
That's important. You don't wait until you have confidence and then start speaking. You start speaking and little by little, confidence grows.
Before you go, we have a question for you. What sentence do you usually use to start a conversation with someone new?
Try answering in English. You can even say your answer out loud first for extra speaking practice.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, share your answer in the comments. You could write, I usually start a conversation by saying.
Reading other learners' answers can also give you new expressions and conversation ideas.
Thank you for spending this time with us today on English Scale Podcast. We hope this conversation helped English feel a little more natural and a little less stressful.
Remember, you don't need perfect grammar, an amazing story, or a clever opening line to connect with someone.
Be curious, listen carefully, ask simple questions, and give the other person space to speak.
And don't be afraid of small mistakes. Every real conversation is another chance to practice.
Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep building your confidence one conversation at a time.
Thanks for listening to English Scale Podcast, and we'll see you in another episode.